Bodies Podcast, WATP.
I was introduced to this woman, Nikki Nunez. And Nikki is one of these obese influencers who likes to be fashion forward. She has a TikTok. We played it on Who Are These Socials. She shows off her outfits that are from Target and Old Navy. These are not. Who are you wearing? Target.
Camping supply stores.
It's just not impressive. But anyway, she hosts a show with her friend Alex Stewart, and it's called Swipe Fat. And the description is, dating is hard. Dating when you're fat is even harder or softer, depending on. Anyway, in this weekly podcast, Alex Stewart and Nikki Nunez will take you through the chronicles of dating as a plus-sized woman. Now, listen, there's a lot of ways to describe overweight people. You could say plus size, you could say extra large, you could say Doug from Who's Right. These women are none of those things.
Remember we talked?
Here's a photo of these two women. These are very large gals. Okay. So yeah, I can see why dating might be difficult. God damn, how does that one stay up?
I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
Her legs look like mine at the bottom. Wow. I can understand if she was standing up and she was like spinning very quickly.
I was going to say it's like a top.
That's what it looks like. It's like dreidel. Anyway, not the point. The point is dating is hard.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Nikki.
Welcome to Swipe Fat.
Where dating's hard.
But dating when you're fat is even harder.
If only there was something you could do about that
Nope.
to make it. All right, I'm just saying. If it is difficult and they want to do it, they want to be dating guys, and they're finding it difficult, is there a way to make that easier, to make it so more guys are into them and they have, maybe a bigger pool to choose from? Okay. Just curious. Doug, you checked out this show. What'd you pick up on?
So the episode that I listened to was, they do that stupid thing with the Friends thing where they name them all the one with.
Yeah.
This was the one with the fat shaming date.
Oh.
Which one did you listen to?
I might be listening to the same one. I might have listened to the same one. Is it the one where she had 6 dates with this guy?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then we pulled from the same one because I was reading through the descriptions and I went, oh, this is the one that I want to hear more about. Well, let's start off at the beginning before we get into the date, because I have the whole package. I'm sure you do too around that. But they're in Chicago, and this is in December when they're recording this. And you remember, we're kind of on the same plane in here in Rochester, Chicago. We had similar weather patterns come through. It was warm in December. But apparently, this woman, Alex, could not sleep because it was too warm.
Whatever, I'm mad at him.
I know you are.
Well, he kept me up all night last night,
She's talking about her dog.
It was really hot.
By the way, in case you're wondering what the fat girl says a guy or him kept her up, it's a dog. Okay.
It was really hot in our house because, we have radiators.
And it's warm out.
And it's warm out.
Yeah, it's like 50 degrees in Chicago, which is weird.
So he didn't want me to touch him.
Mm-hmm.
I was sweating, so I really didn't want to touch him.
Okay. A couple of things going on here. First off, 50 degrees outside, if you're sleeping in a bedroom, is not warm.
Perfect.
Open that window and you're good to go. But this is the crazy part. The dog didn't want her touching it. I've never seen a dog look at a human and be like, yeah, no, not for me. Dog's not that discerning. She's like, I was really gross. The dog was trying to avoid me at all costs. It's weird. Well, it wasn't just her bed that was warm. Also, these fucking Uber drivers, these Uber drivers want their cars to be warm when they're driving around in the wintertime. It's crazy.
Uber the other day had his heat blasting. I was like, sir, it is literally 48 degrees.
Well, and then he's like, are you okay? Do you need, I was like, and then I'll just be like, oh, I'm hungover. I just need some fresh air. I lie.
Oh,
like I just
you're, like embarrassed.
Yeah, that I'm
that you're hot. This is a fat girl thing for sure.
Again, 48, it's quite chilly out. Yeah. You would have the windows up and the heat on. It was 48 degrees. And so these women are, big boned. But apparently them being sweaty and hot and gross has nothing to do with their weight.
I mean, I ran hot when I was straight size too.
Yeah.
It's just like how my body is.
Sure it is.
when she was straight size.
Yeah, she references that phrase straight size quite a bit. I had to look it up. And if you go into Google and type what is straight sized, it will say it means not fat.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking if straight size means not fat and straight means not being gay, like straight's pretty cool in every single way. I want to be straight in every way possible. That's awesome.
Well, there's hope for you.
Thank you. I'm working on it. All right. Before I play all of your clips here, Doug, what did you pick up on from this show?
So I was pretty bored for the first half of the episode where she was talking about sleeping with her dog and falling down the stairs. Like, that wasn't even clippable. And you'd think a fat girl falling down the stairs would be clippable.
Right?
And then she starts talking about the date, and I damn near clipped the entire rest of the fucking episode.
Okay, good. Me too. Let's save that then, because I do have a couple clips from before that. She did fall down the stairs. She's having a bad week, this Alex. And because of that.
You don't know where I am, I guess, because but I'm in my, like on my couch because I broke my butt.
A fat girl on her couch. Huh. I can't even picture that. She must have an excuse, right? Because normally fat chicks don't like hanging out on their couch. So then Alex starts explaining the bruise she has. Now, if there's one thing that I want to think about when I'm thinking about a big fat girl's fat ass, it's the bruise that might be on it from her falling down the stairs.
Oh, it's so bruised. It's like all purple, like a whole thing. And deep, dark purple.
So I have to tell you guys, I went to YouTube to pull a Deep Purple song, and under the comments of Smoke on the Water, someone wrote, "What a cool song. I'm going to try playing it at my local guitar store. Wish me luck, guys."
That's pretty good.
It's a pretty funny comment. All right. So she's got this gross, deep, dark purple bruise on her butt. And then it gets into Alex is talking about how she's embarrassed about this date that happens. This is where we get into it.
I'm hoping that people relate that, like, it's embarrassing, like what happened. And I also don't want this to like discourage people from dating. And and it's discouraging me right now. So I feel like that's like the hard part. It's like, I don't want to do all those things. I know.
I just need to, before we get into this,
Yeah.
to remember, it is embarrassing for him. It is a him problem. It is not a you problem.
I realize that.
Oh, so when the guy calls out his date for being overweight, he should be embarrassed. That to me sounds to give some credit to the folks in the Discord. Jody B. Oh no, are the stairs okay? She got into a fight with gravity. She's in a thud play. John Jamingo says, I haven't been in a guitar store for at least 15 years. Nice callback, John.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. All right, Doug. I'll let you pick up here where I'm leaving off.
All right. So I have a feeling we're going to be stepping all over each other's clips.
Yeah, it's fine. Take it away.
Right. So this is Alex leading off the story, talking about how bad her week was. And you touched on everything except for one of the things that she was pissed off about.
Mm-hmm.
This happened earlier in the week, and then I fell on my ass.
Yeah.
So it's been a humbling week and I had my period.
Yeah.
It's
been a lot.
A lot of blood. A lot of blood.
I have, of course, that exact same clip. Because he's like, you guys, it's been a bad week. I had a bad date, fell on my ass, and there's blood coming out of my vagina.
Blood play.
I mean, it might have been there from last week. It's hard to tell. But...
I got really big eggs.
Gross. All right. So what happened on this date, Doug? That was
the
so
beauty
terrible.
of this is, as you know, this is their sixth date. They've already fucked several times.
Correct.
And the end of this date, he asks a couple questions that just sends her spinning out of fucking control.
Yes.
All right.
We were sort of towards the end of the date. So we probably had like 3 or 4 cocktails at this point. And I remember, I feel like I blacked out a little bit. So I don't really 100% remember. And blacked out meaning like after he brought up the time. Yeah.
Okay. So her entire personality is based around being fat.
Right.
She has a podcast about fat pride. She posts videos of herself wearing fat clothes. She has merch that she sells that says, you know, fat is beautiful and fat queen or whatever the fuck.
It's more than that. They've been featured because I was going through and doing some research on them. And of course, anytime you're a fat influencer, you're so brave and it's so amazing that you're doing this, you're putting yourself out there. So they've been covered by all this shitty media outlets explaining how amazing they are and how brave they are. So I feel like at some point she'd be like, yeah, I guess I'm doing something right. But apparently she's still wildly insecure, it turns out.
So they kind of tease what the questions were that he asked.
Yeah.
And it builds up. So they divert. And I'm sure both of you, have either of you ever been on a dinner date with like an 800-pound human?
No.
Not ringing any bells.
Oh, okay.
I have not.
So, but I bet you're curious what the topics of conversation would be.
Sure.
I remember talking about like pretty privilege and being plus size and, you know, like something around that. And then I said, you know, being a plus size woman. He was like, yeah, actually, I've been meaning to ask you about that.
How does he go about that?
Yeah.
And she's just like, are you going to finish that?
He hasn't even brought it to me yet. Yeah, give me a fucking chance.
Right.
All right. So they, you know, she says, yeah, he said, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. And now they established that there's only two directions that this could go.
My heart dropped to my stomach for sure. I was like, oh my God, this is not going to go in a good direction.
Yeah, it could be like one of two ways.
Right. It could be one way where you're kind of like, oh, tell me about your experience. Like,
Yeah.
how has that been for you?
Or I've never dated a plus size woman.
Okay, that's the only two ways that this can go.
Right. This is amazing. I've never dated a plus size woman before. I can't wait to brag to all my friends about it. Okay, can we take a photo together?
Yeah, right.
Can I post this on Instagram?
Hold on. You got to go farther back. Yeah. You got to go farther back.
Honey, I want to be in this photo. Come on.
There's only two ways this could go. Oh, no, just the one. There's just the one way this can go.
All right, now they established that, hold on, maybe there's other options. Maybe there's something else that he would want to talk about.
Yeah. How do I best like support you? Or how do we do this together? And, you know, whatever.
So if I was on a dinner date with an 800-pound female, the last thing I would say is, how do I support you? Like, I'm not going to even attempt to.
Right, yes. Sounds like a really bad idea.
What are your stairs made of?
What size truck should I buy?
Okay, so they finally get into it. What is the question that he asked? So, Chris, have you heard this?
No.
What do you think would be something that would cause the sixth date to just nosedive into the ground and send her off into a mental breakdown?
On the sixth date?
Yeah, this is their sixth date. They've already fucked.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what's so crazy about this is she's like, oh my gosh, this was so terrible. He brought up, you know, you've already heard the intro there where I've been meaning to ask you about you being a plus size gal. So what's the next thing he's going to say that's so terrible?
Can you pick up the check for once? This is costing me a fortune.
Do we always have to go to the buffet? Yeah. No, you're wrong.
Oh.
But instead, he asked me what my body goals were. And I was like, the fuck does that mean?
Can you imagine being so fucking triggered? Like, your whole personality is being fat.
Right.
And you're sitting and she talks about it. He's also a fat fuck. And he looks at her across the table and says, do you have any body goals? And that's it. That's all it took.
Well, and the funny thing is that she could say, yeah, and I've achieved them all. Like, there's a really easy way to thwart this whole conversation. But, and actually you revealed something that I was going to kind of couch a little bit, was this idea that she lets it slide after all of this, where he's like, do you have any body goals, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then she gets into this really sticky conversation. Maybe you have some of those clips where obviously this guy's like, oh shit, I should have brought it up. He's trying to backtrack. I don't know. It seems fine to me. But the fact that he's also obese makes this a perfectly appropriate question to ask, because he might want to answer that for himself. Actually, I feel like I've let myself go.
He may have been going in that direction.
Right, I'm guessing that's what he wanted to say. Like, maybe we could do this together. We could try to lose some weight and be more healthy. Because that changes everything.
I'm going to end up jumping around then just to follow up on what you just said.
Yeah, please.
She ends up fat shaming him.
Yes. Yep.
He was just like, I've never dated anyone who's like bigger than me. And I just remember in my head thinking like, I don't think you're bigger. I'm bigger than you. I think we might be the same size.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand like where this is like coming from.
So
I've got to correct myself. Hold on. Is it fat shaming? Am I fat shaming somebody if I say you're as big as me?
yes. Picture this with short hair. This is what she's describing. These people have seen each other naked, and she goes, I think he might be bigger than me. Like, Jesus. This is not good.
Oh, God. I've never felt better about things.
These two people have fucked already.
I know. I can't get over that.
I can't either. See, the last show we were playing, they were talking about fucking, and I was turned off. I want to hear how these two people actually fuck. I want to know what there's got to be like what, one position, maybe two. It's even possible.
This is going to be an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
I want these two dumpy bitches to go and fuck the people from the other podcast so they can beat the shit out of these two girls.
Yes, let's get some blood play going.
I like this.
That's awful. Now, what's crazy about this whole thing, and so he's also obese. And so he's bringing up, hey, do you have any goals? And so the idea is she gets upset because it's implying that she's unhealthy. Do you have that clip, Doug?
I do.
Okay, hit that for me, because then I have
Oh,
something.
I got to find it. I was.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is that like she thinks that she is healthy.
Oh, like Ash, the
Right, the Infinifat.
the Infinifat.
Right. And so a lot of these people who are obese just go, yeah, but it's what I'm supposed to be, and it's fine. And, Cosmo's going to put them on the front cover of their magazine and say, yeah, this is the new beauty standard. And everyone's going to go,
You make obese sound like a negative thing.
yeah, you're making it sound like I'm doing something wrong or something.
Of course I'm obese.
I don't have a lot of doctor friends, but my friend Steve tells me it's not good for you to be morbidly obese.
I apologize, Carl. We'll end up hearing it.
Yeah.
I've got it clipped somewhere. I just don't have it labeled about
No worries. I just wanted to play this for you. This is a clip, and I've already mentioned it before. It came out 4 weeks ago from Blair White. And Blair White does a great job of breaking down some of these fat influencers and these people who are championing this idea that being not overweight but obese could possibly be a good thing.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead.
Join me on my Fat Positive radio show.
Which didn't last long because she died.
These people are all dead before they're
My
40.
hair is getting stuck on the Christmas tree. She's falling apart. Welcome back to my channel. There are a lot of lies that modern progressivism tells, right? And unfortunately, because a large chunk of the population is stuck on stupid, they do believe them, no matter how obviously deceptive and insane the lies are. A lot of people believe them. I consider one of the most damaging lies that is told by the establishment is that you can be healthy at any size, that you
Yeah, that's obviously not true. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for a lot of the organs in your body. It's not good for your body itself to be carrying around all this weight. It's not healthy for you in any single way.
This is a serious question. Have you ever seen anybody that's not obese say that it's you can be healthy at any size?
I think so, but those are like the allies that are, I don't know if they're tricking themselves or if they just want to be so supportive. No one with a brain in their head says that, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
And this is the other thing too. This is what pisses me off, is that these people like to say that they like being fat. This is fun for them. Meanwhile, it's nonstop complaining about how hot it is everywhere. They're sweating and they're gross and it's hard to date.
Yeah, everything's a problem.
Everything's a problem, but they want to be fat. Like she literally said she doesn't want to lose any weight when he asked what her body goal was. But then she says this.
I know I at one point got down to 140 and I was like very proud of that.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, but that was doing 2-a-days at the gym and eating
things.
Yeah, drinking like V8 juice only and eating bagels for lunch.
I would have done the bagels, but so you can do it. And she said she felt proud of herself. She was down to 140 in high school when she was working out and trying to eat less, and she felt good about it. So which is it?
Good point.
You're contradicting yourself with that.
So she was saying she was really unhealthy back then?
I guess. I mean,
It sounds that way.
V8's not the worst you could do.
No.
The bagel is just too many carbs. I'm sure there was cream cheese on it, which is fine, but I would have gone with a more sensible lunch. Notice that she doesn't mention what dinner was, though. Yeah. And then lasagna.
But only one pan.
Right, yes.
So back to this date.
Yeah.
I like the fact she talks about how pissed off she got. She got so pissed off that she blacked out.
And then he was like, do you like the whole are you confident in your body thing? I just remember, again, I just feel like I blacked out. Like a lot of it is in pieces because at one point I did go to the bathroom.
Get so pissed off that I had to go take a shit.
All right. So this is what she doesn't understand.
Then I guess I don't understand like why I need to be thinner.
Yeah.
To be like, why it would make you more comfortable for me to be thinner.
Well, there'd be more room on this bench first of off, but okay.
Say to that.
He brought up like
the cost of flights. We have to buy 2 seats.
Like health concerns and like concerns about obesity and like all this stuff. And I was like, so what from that perspective, like what is healthy then to you? And he was like, oh, well, what like the doctor said. And I was like, so like BMI, like my BMI. I was like, like technically I should be 120 based on BMI.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I don't think I've been
since you were like 6th grade.
Right. I mean,
yeah, but that doesn't make it wrong.
It doesn't change anything.
Right. I love that she watched an Instagram video or two where they're just like, BMI doesn't mean anything. Don't listen to doctors. It's like, okay, all of this medical research and papers and peer reviewed, all of that's bullshit because I saw 2 TikToks that said it was. So if this other obese guy wants to tell me that I should be in better shape for my health, he's an idiot and an asshole. And Doug, not to let John Jamingo take over our show, but he does have a question here for us. Ask Carl and Doug, gun to their heads, who would they fuck, obese chick or chick with a cock?
Oh, obese chick.
Yeah, obese
again.
Chick. The answer is obese. But
you don't even have to put a gun to my head.
It's pretty obvious. All right.
I've got a couple clips here of I think it's kind of getting into her inner psyche, her projecting why all this conversation at the date. I think we know what was causing it.
And then I was like, okay, so you're not attracted to me. That's
it's important for me to reemphasize. All he asked is if she had any body goals.
Right.
And he said, do you have any body goals? And then these clips is what she heard in that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, so you're not attracted to me. That's, my next line of questioning.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, I'm obviously attracted to you. I wouldn't have had sex if I wasn't attracted to you.
Yeah, the fact that he got it up is quite impressive. It's amazing.
And again, so do you have any body goals? So you're not attracted to me.
One thing guys can't fake is an erection. Yeah. Oh, here comes my hard penis. Watch out.
Or an orgasm.
Oh, Viagra, Cialis.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, well then you're embarrassed to be seen with me. And he was like, no, I mean, like we go on dates and stuff.
So I think that this guy dodged a bullet.
Yes. Yeah, because they have not dated since this question came up. This is the 3rd rail, apparently, for dating an obese chick. Hey, you want to be obese forever? What the fuck?
Now, I'm going to go backwards because she's talking about how she knows that his feelings were genuine.
Okay.
yeah, it's just like weird. I'm like, we had sex multiple times. We like cuddled. There's like, a lot of like staring
Intimate.
in a romantic way, not in a like, you can tell. I feel like you can tell when someone is like looking at you from like a I want to devour you way, like I really like you way, and when they don't.
Yeah.
And I could like tell.
So she could tell that he really liked her.
Okay.
They've fucked several times.
I mean, she got
6
naked
dates.
in front of him, and they're still out on another date. That
Right.
tells you everything you need to know right there.
So she knew in her heart how much he cared about her.
Yes.
And all he said is, hey, like, you got any body goals?
Yeah.
For me, like now looking back on it, I'm like, it's 100% that you just don't want to, like, you're embarrassed, like, to date someone plus size. And not to just be seen in public with me. I think it's a deeper thing because I think we'd gotten to this point where we're probably moving on to like meet the friends, meet the family.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just like, shit, like we got here and now I have to like, I'm going to have to introduce her to people and that's embarrassing.
And deal with their judgments.
And deal with their judgments. But at least I can be like, oh, she has a goal and it's to lose half her body weight,
She knows how much she has to lose.
And she's reading into all of this. One little question, and now it's turning into meeting parents and holidays.
I hate to break this to you, ma'am, but people are judging you whether you can hear it or not.
Right. Yes.
Keep that in mind.
Well, she knows that, though. And that's the big thing. She's already projecting all of this onto him. He didn't say any of these things.
Yeah, it sounds like she wanted an out.
Sounds like a her problem.
During that clip, I was envisioning your 6th date with your wife at Applebee's, and she holds up her phone and says, you ever heard of Invisalign? Like, you ever heard of this company?
Yeah. Do you have any teeth goals, Carl? Like, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Carl, I have a friend. I want you to see him. He's a dentist. I'll just slip you a card. You can just make that phone call whenever you want there. Okay, Jed. I'm going to talk about this on my podcast. You hurt my feelings. Bobcat, when are you selling tickets for Tampa? I'm coming. They should be on sale next week. As soon as they are, I will announce that. And definitely people on Patreon and Supercast will get first crack at purchasing those tickets because we always sell the VIPs pretty quickly. So March 22nd, mark it down on your calendars. Save the date. WATP Live. Doug, you got a lot of free time. Maybe you can come to one of these live shows.
Yeah, I think I might be able to now.
All right, sweet.
Cool.
I like unemployed
If you have
Doug.
it in the next 3 weeks before I run out of money.
All right, well, that's the problem right there.
Do we have time for a couple more clips from the show, or do you want to move on?
Let's do it. I'm feeling
All right, thank you. The first one is, I just want to know if you can explain to me. I know what she's saying, but it's a really, really dumb sentence.
Duh.
I have unlearned diet culture.
Yeah.
I do know that I'm like beautiful, but I do think like in that moment, he made me feel less than him.
So unlearning diet culture, is that the same thing as ignoring the experts?
Correct.
Is that the same
Yes.
thing?
Unlearning diet culture. You know, this thing where you're supposed to eat so many calories a day. You're supposed to actually like work out and exercise. I unlearned all of that.
Turns out none of it really fucking matters.
She's dead.
And then the last thing is, so we went through that whole exercise of, he asked, do you have any body goals? And what he really meant was, I'm not attracted to you. I'm embarrassed to be seen by you.
Right.
I don't want your family around.
Yeah.
So she gets home from the date. I assume she finishes her fucking cheesecake that she brought. And she decides to send him a text and say, now she really figured out why he was asking that.
So your goals were all for him.
Yep.
It was
And
all
that's
for
why
him.
that's why when I sent the text, I was like, this is all about you being comfortable being with someone. It's like not about me. It's not about me, my health. This is about you being comfortable.
She is a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, the mental gymnastics here, the only gymnastics she's ever going to do are the mental gymnastics. It's insane to think this guy asked one question, which is a good question to ask. And if she's not thinking about body goals, she should be. And so he asked one question, and she has totally flipped the script. He's the worst guy ever who was trying to push her to do all these things she doesn't want to do. It's like, well, no. You can maintain your obesity if you want. Just answer the question.
And just to recap that it's date number 6. It's okay to ask something like this.
Right.
You've been naked.
Yeah.
Be like, I go upstairs and my wife says, so do you have any career goals? Or what are we doing?
Did you want to find a way to pay the mortgage at some point? Or how does that?
Where are you going with this, bitch? Stop riding
Give me that cheesecake.
Wow.
Who are these podcasts?